How's it going, guys? Grimsie42 here, and I've got some really cool stuff to show you today. I've got a really epic package I got from a friend, some really cool limited edition games I just recently got in, and I actually was able to find one of the rarest and most sought after games for a specific system, so definitely happy to get that, and without further ado, let's go. Alright guys, I am not going to start this one slow. I'm going to start this with a bang, and I will talk about that package that I got from my good buddy Tony. He goes as Takara Tony on YouTube, and I will link him below for you guys. Definitely check him out if you're into G.I. Joes. That's his forte, and lucky for me, that's how I was able to get some of these games. His main interest is G.I. Joes, but like, as crazy of a collector as I am, his G.I. Joe collection puts my game collection to shame, and I'm actually not embarrassed to say that, because even though I take a lot of pride in my game collection, his level of knowledge of G.I. Joes is definitely next level, and I definitely loved Joes as a kid. I think that just due to space and, you know, just things of that nature, I've luckily stayed away from toys, but that's definitely his thing, and like I said, I will link him down below, so definitely check him out. Basically how this goes is Tony actually lives really close to my other buddy Scott Squatch, and he messages me and he's like, hey, I came into this huge lot of games, does any of this stuff interest you? And, you know, he let me know that he was also letting Scott look it over, and he kind of indicated that he was really only going to give us stuff that we needed. So that was basically where we're not supposed to be douchebags and go, well, I'll take this. So I gave him a message of the short list of games I was interested in, and I will tell you right now, it surprised the crap out of me. He literally just sent them to me. So it's gotten to the point where anytime I see G.I. Joes at a garage sale, I'm going to pick them up for him, because I feel super guilty, because I'm like, wow, that was like the nicest thing in the world. When you see some of these games, you guys are going to understand that, you know, while they're not stadium events or something sick like that, these are all super clean and pretty damn good games. So the fact that he was that nice just totally blew me away. You know, Tony's always been awesome. He's always taken really good care of his friends. I know he gave Billy a really sick deal on that crazy, like that, what do they call that thing? That friggin' aircraft carrier for G.I. Joe. I think the Flag, if I'm not mistaken, the USS Flag. I don't know, it's been years. But anyways, super generous guy, and let me show you guys what he was nice enough to gift me. The first one here is Breath of Fire 3. Huge fan of that series, actually. 3, I think, was my favorite. I really liked 4. I haven't played the ones on Super Nintendo yet, but I really like the PlayStation versions. It's really good to get these back in the collection. And the next one, it still has like the sticker on it. Breath of Fire 4, and I played this one a little bit. I got a few hours into it. I really liked what I was seeing. Again, I played all the way through 3, and 4 looks to be good, so I'm in the process of getting through that one. This next one here has eluded me many times, and I'm glad to finally have it in the collection. I haven't had it in my collection since I had to sell all my PS1 RPGs in like 03, so definitely good to get this one back. It is Legend of Legaia. The last PlayStation 1 game, I actually will admit, I played this one probably mostly through Disc 1, and I never got the ability to become a Dragoon, and I'm told that I missed a really, really good game, so I definitely put this on my short list of games to get into and give the full chance it deserves. Right now I'm actually playing the original Wild Arms for PlayStation 1, so I'll probably do this one next, and it's Legend of Dragoon. Okay, these next two games here are like unbelievably clean. One of the things about this lot that he picked up is everything was just in amazing condition, and these were two games that I didn't have that I wanted to get into my collection. The first one is a super clean, probably 9 out of 10 copy of Wario's Woods. And this one was the most impressive in my opinion, and I will explain why, and hopefully you guys can appreciate it as much as I do. The game is Donkey Kong Country 3 Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. And basically the reason seeing this clean is so special, anyone who knows, this is a very late release game. This is 96, and it was made in Mexico. So basically, not to be mean or whatever, but the games that were made in Mexico are of a poorer quality than the ones that were made in Japan. But as you guys can see, this thing is like literally 9 out of 10. At worst, and it's just super, super clean. So you really never see this in this kind of shape. it's typically super beat up. So I am super grateful. And the worst part, or best part, depending on how you perceive it, is he originally was not going to send me this. I sent him the list of games that I was looking to get, and I was actually thinking I was going to buy these. And he told me he wasn't going to send Donkey Kong because he needed it for his collection. He does have a small collection, he does collect, and it's something he was looking for. So I was like, you know, hey, you win some, you lose some, but he really blew me away when he sent it. So I'm super, super grateful, and it definitely beefed up the Super Nintendo collection. So again, huge thank you to Tony, really grateful. Alright, the next things I'll show you, a couple cheap games I picked up recently, very recently. I think these are some of my most recent pickups. This first one I picked up on sale at Target for whatever reason, and they're super hit or miss. They had 2 copies. One was ringing up as $49.99, and the other one had a clearance sticker on it for $8 and I think 88 cents. And that's the one I picked. And it is Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner 2 Record Breaker. And this is one of those like big box versions. It's got a bonus decal set and a music CD. Definitely cool to pick up an Atlas game for under 10 bucks. Not huge into the 3DS yet. I've got a decent collection, but I pick things up like this when I see them. These next 3, I picked all 3 of these up for under 10 bucks. These were all GameStop. Just happened to go in looking for a different game, and I was actually looking for 2 games, and both of the games were discs only, so I was pretty bummed, but I did see these. This first one here is Sorcery. I think this, yeah, requires the PlayStation Move. Next one here actually claims it included the PlayStation Eye camera, so I guess this was a bigger box game. It's Eye of Judgment. This one was only $1. And this last one, I'm a big fan of the series. Hopefully this one doesn't disappoint. It was like $3 or $4. It's Ridge Racer 7. Alright guys, a few more things here. Next one I'm going to show you, I picked this one up at a GameStop also. This was 10 bucks. I didn't have this yet, believe it or not, at least this version. This is Resident Evil Archives, and it's the, not HD in this case, but the upgraded remake of the original Resident Evil. So, pretty cool to get that. I didn't have that version, so for 10 bucks I figured I'd pick it up. Okay, here I have a couple PSP games I was able to pick up. I've really been trying to beef up the PSP collection, and whenever I see games on the cheap, I grab them. Both these were just a couple bucks. First one here is P2, Practical Intelligence Quotient. Oh, some weird word. I'm sure somebody will wreck my pronunciation of that. It's like Quotient. Quotient? I don't know. That one is not in my my vocabulary. I apologize. But interesting looking game. It kind of looks like Intelligent Cube, and I really like that. So hopefully that's what it's like. Next one here has a little bit of damage to the case, but I figure I'll just swap it out whenever I get another case. It's a Natsume title, and it's Adventures to Go. Everywhere I see this, it's cheap, but this one was like $2, so as Jay would say, $2. But hopefully it's a good game, but either way, for $2, it was worth a try. The last PSP game I'm going to show you guys is definitely the biggest of them all. I was lucky enough to see this one on a Facebook page, which, believe it or not, those really aren't common for me anymore because there's a bunch of savages on them Facebook groups, and they absolutely are like piranhas. The second a piece of meat hits the water, they're just swarming on it, and if anything is even a remote deal, they're just lowballing and taking everything they can get. So the fact that I was able to get one of these definitely made me happy. It's an Atlas title. It's something that was featured on a Metal Jesus video, and it's something that I am super happy to have in my collection. I will not pronounce this the way that Reggie on Metal Jesus does, because I don't think he's saying it right, but maybe he is. Anyways, it looks like Hexiforce. That's the way I'm going to pronounce it. If I'm wrong, then again, you know, Grimsie, you're an idiot, whatever. But really, really happy to get this. It's like, at this point, it's like a friggin' $100 game, which, okay, if Atlas is on it, there's always a chance. But really, really cool. It's like a 2-character RPG where you can basically play the role of both the characters and kind of combine it. And I believe it also has a New Game Plus feature, so something I'm super excited to get into. I already tested it out. It works flawlessly. Anytime I get a really expensive game, I absolutely have to make sure it works right away, just because I don't want it sitting on my shelf thinking I'm good to go, and then, you know, 5 years later I go to pop it in and it's 3 times more than it was, and it doesn't even work. So I like to know my games work, and if they're expensive games, I like to know sooner rather than later. The last little stack of games that I'm going to show you guys is pretty cool stuff. Actually, I have one more before I get into that stack. It's basically something that I had really wanted to get, and what limited me from getting it was that it was a DLC only game. And I'm pretty sure you guys have found my opinion by now that I really don't like to download games. I really want physical media. I don't trust hard drives. I don't trust these PlayStation networks and Xbox Lives and all that nonsense to be here in 5 or 10 years. And they've already proven it by not supporting Xbox Live for Xbox One anymore. The original one, not the new one, the fat, big X one. I call that 101. It was the first Xbox, original Xbox, OG Xbox, whatever the hell you want to call it. They don't support Live on that anymore. And I hear stuff with like that playable teaser for the Silent Hills game, that's getting taken off people's hard drives. So basically I'm paranoid and I only want physical media. And there was a game that came out here only as a digital download, but I found out that Japan got a physical version. And I did some research and I found out that if you have the game in Japanese, not only will it play on your PS3, but it actually translates the language into English. So that's really cool. I basically just popped it into my system and it plays just like that American download would have. So without further ado, I give you guys Strider 3 or Strider. I think it's just Strider. And the cool thing is it actually comes with playable downloads of Strider 1 and 2. And I actually am able to download these because I have a second PS3 that's a Japanese PS3 that I have hooked up to the Japanese PlayStation Network, and believe it or not, the download codes were not redeemed, so I was able to get those, but actually I have Fallout 3 in this right now, which means my Strider is actually in the system. I was actually playing it. It's kind of hard. They start you with like a little sliver of health, but pretty cool game, and I'm definitely happy to get this physical. I have another one that I'm really excited to get that I'll probably show you guys in the next week or two coming from Japan, kind of the same road of this, so something I'm really excited about. And like I said, if you guys weren't aware, the PlayStation 3 games are not region locked, so there's a lot of cool stuff Japan got that we didn't, and this is one of them. Alright guys, now I can talk about that last little pile of games that I was getting to, that I was alluding to, if you will. I found out a while ago that there was a company called Limited Run Games, and I really like what they do. They basically, just like I was crying about with the Strider, they take games that were digital only and they make physical copies of them. And to make matters worse or better, depending on your opinion, I'll let you guys debate that below. I actually think it's better. They make them, as their name says, really limited. And the first one I think here there was only about 2,000 copies of. And it is a game called Breach and Clear. I guess this is kind of like a, it kind of looks like a 3/4 overhead military game. I really have no interest in playing it. I just was attracted to the fact that it was very hard to find, so I picked it up. A buddy of mine actually let me know, and that was when I first heard about the company. And the next game that they released actually came out on PlayStation 4 and Vita. I originally only wanted to get it for the 4, but then I heard they actually are numbering their games like a series, so I figured, what the heck, I'll get the Vita version also. And I had this little intuition that some of my friends were going to miss out on it, so I actually got a second copy of both versions. You're actually allowed to get up to 2, and I knew that I would be able to trade these down the road, so I picked up the Saturday Morning RPG for the PS4, and it's really nice looking. I like how it is, and like I said, there's it says LRP01 on the spine, so really cool there. I'm actually going to keep this sealed because you can just download it for like $1 on Steam, so that's where I'm going to play it, but it looks really fun, and I definitely recommend you guys look into this if you are able to get a copy. And if physically you're not able to get a copy, like I said, you can download it on, I think, PS4, Steam, Xbox One, a lot of avenues, so definitely cool. And the one that accompanies that is the Vita version, and like I said, I was able to get a couple of these. I was lucky, and I posted a picture, and believe it or not, Joe from GameSack messaged me and, you know, asked me what I got 2 for, and I told him I was trying to trade them, and there was actually a specific title I was seeking, and believe it or not, he had an extra copy of it because he had it for the Vita and the PS4. Sadly, he didn't want to part with the PS4 version, which I understand, that one's pretty expensive, but For one of the copies of the Vita that I got, I was able to trade that for a copy of Retro City Rampage DX. And that's really, really cool because I missed out on this. I missed out on the PS4 version, and it's really, really cool to be able to get this. So, I mean, at this point, I've got a pretty good selection of these, you know, really limited, hard to find physical medias. Super happy to get these. And I was really grateful to Joe. He shipped it like the next day, and it came like the day after that. So pretty cool that it came from like across the country that fast. And I did get confirmation he received his, so all is well that ends well there. Anyways, guys, this is a bit of a long one. I got long-winded there. I apologize, but I appreciate you sticking around to the end. Let me know, like I said, what your thoughts are on these super limited games. I definitely can sympathize for those who are not able to get copies of them. I understand the frustration. I missed out on that Fire Emblem 3DS Collector's Edition game. I really was pissed about that because I wanted everything on physical media. I don't want to download that third game or third scenario or whatever it is, and I'll hold out for it. I'll never play the dang thing if I can't get that. So, again, I can completely sympathize, and I totally understand to those who didn't get it and are frustrated. But at the end of the day, I'm glad that some came out, and it's pretty cool that it's a limited edition thing. It kind of makes me want to collect it more, you know, but anyways, guys, I appreciate you watching, sticking around to the end, and until next time, take care.